Start that garbage. Thank you, Bruce. Yeah, got my PC running again, so I can see these things better now. It's hard to do on my Mac. It's a little old. Time to upgrade. I was gonna upgrade this year, but thanks to the events in the world, I don't know if I want to spend the funds till I re-up. Welcome, welcome. Bum bum. Bum bum. Retro Death. I click T live and it actually works. Hashtag small Mac. Yeah. Mac's old. Well, older. But new Mac will smash this PC when I get it. The one I'm eyeing. But I still think I'll live stream on this, on the PC. Wasabi, wasabi. Final major update though, they could add more. Curious what you will say. You've been messing around in it, right, Retro? Because I haven't even. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the stuff for the update. I know what's going on. What's the flashing in the background? It's my power surge protector. No, kidding. It's just a strobe light for dramatic effect. Just wanted to see how it would look. Just my prop strobe light I use for shoots. It's a conversation piece. That's what it is. Nya, nya, nya. It's got you talking, don't it? Got you wondering. Alright. Oh, man. Look, I know it's Friday night, but everybody's locked up in the house. Where y'all at? Where y'all at? Unless you're out doing stupid things that you're not supposed to be doing. What some people are doing. Risking their lives and other people's lives as well. Waka waka. Waka waka waka. I'll turn it off if it's too distracting. But, you know, besides my big comfy couch and my CRT TV back there, there's not much going on. So I figured, why not? Mm-hmm. Oh, man. They opened the McDrive here again. There were miles of lines. People gonna be dead. McDrive. What's that? What is that, retro? I'm not familiar. Wow, this thing goes back pretty far. Oh, that's what I was thinking, but I wasn't sure. I didn't want to be McDonald's drive-thru. That's what I was thinking. Wasn't sure. I didn't want to be stupid. I didn't want to prognosticate. That's the correct word. Like a certain president of the United States looking stupid and not knowing anything and asking silly questions live when he could have asked them to the doctors beforehand. It's embarrassing, but we won't get into that. Can you inject bleach into people and maybe cure? Wow. That's all I can say. All right, so prognosticate. My man knows all the fancy jumbo. I gotta know it, man. That's what I gotta do. Language is very important to writers. You gotta be able to know how to say different things and understand different words to be able to write. It's interesting to me. Language. Very interesting stuff. All right, we'll get started. My live viewers ain't moving right now. I don't want to bore you two guys to death. So, although I have more people in there, but they're not saying nothing. All right, so what is my topics? Mario Maker, Super Mario Maker 2 update. The final update. Which is weird because, what is it, the second update? Maybe the third? I don't remember exactly, but we haven't had that many. And that's one of the issues with it, is that it's the last one, and it's so late, and there was no, like, fanfare behind it. There was no, like, I don't know, but it just seems like the Mario Maker community on Switch isn't, I mean, there's more games on Switch that may have something to do with it, but they haven't seemed to have been, maybe that luster is worn off a little bit. They haven't seemed to have been as into Mario Maker 2 as we were into 1. And I have a, what's the word I'm looking for? Mr. Writer can't come up with a word. I have a strange relationship with Mario Maker. It's because I get really, I know retro. I'll get into that. I get really excited when a game like this comes out. Obviously, when Mario Maker came out, I got really excited. Oh, I'm gonna do all this and do this and this and that, and I do. I go in, I start to do things, and I don't know if it's because I'm such a perfectionist that I don't like. I'm gonna have to teach you how to use the live event. Yeah, well, scheduling in advance doesn't work for you when you just out of Terminator juice, out of the blue decide, oh, I'm gonna do it. So I can't schedule something in advance when I'm not sure if I'm gonna do it. So but I will get better at figuring out when is the best time for me to do these. Right now, it's just kind of a weird time. But yeah, so like I was saying, I get really excited and I come up with a cool concept, and I go in, I spend hours and hours doing something, and it's just I burn out, and it's like I just don't feel like. Why does it show 2 events? I don't know why I did that. I only have 1 event. I know how to set up an event, my man. Oh, maybe it was because I was having issues going live. I tried to go live before, and it was telling me something crap about my internet. That may have something to do with it. So, but anyway, like I was saying, I get really excited, and then I go in, and it's just like I'm never happy enough with what I'm doing halfway through it, and I just kind of give up, and it's frustrating. Because people put out levels all the time, and they don't put so much emphasis on it. They just put a level together, throw it out there. But I can't do that. For some reason, I just can't do that. I want to make a Mario level that feels like a Mario level, and I may have some half levels that are pretty good to go, but I just can't, stick with them. I lose interest. So that's one of my problems. And I remember back in the first Mario Maker, on Wii U, thinking, "Oh, I'm gonna make my own world." I'm gonna make because there's enough level spaces for you to design a whole world, and I was just gonna name them to where people would be like, "Okay, well, this is his World 1, World 2, that type of thing." Keep it all, but I couldn't even decide on one level. So I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna do with Mario Maker 2, especially now we have this world builder, which is what I wanted to do from the beginning. You can do the whole world now. I'm not gonna say anything. One day, in the near future, you might see Mizzah Tee World, Super Mizzah Tee World, or whatever. I'm just gonna quietly do my thing. I'm not gonna say, "Oh yeah, man, I'm gonna do this. Can't wait. It's great. It's good. It's good. It's coming together. Great. Blah blah blah. It's great. Amazing." You just may or may not see a level like that from me, or a world, I should say, or maybe just a level, or levels. So that's what I'm gonna do with that. Now, the update in particular is very cool. Like, this is something that if we had heard a little earlier, like say a couple months after Maker 2 released, it would have been like super exciting to know that this was coming, or some kind of heads up to say, and such, we're gonna update the game every 6 months or every 3 months. We're gonna add something like they did with the first one, and that's what kept people coming back. People's channels were built up on Mario Maker back then, and currently people's channels are being built up on Animal Crossing. I've seen people that a week ago were getting 400, 200 views, that I look and I'm like, I thought I'm subscribed to this person who was getting 61,000 views, who's getting 100,000 views, because of their Animal Crossing stuff. And that's something that we expected to see from Mario Maker, but Animal Crossing right now, especially, is just more. It's just more popular, and that's another problem with Mario Maker 2 dropping this update right now. Had this update came out before Animal Crossing, maybe there would be more fervor around it. Maybe say February. It would have been a little bit more exciting. Maybe still not enough to keep the community going or get the community back going. But yeah, I mean, I don't, it's some really cool stuff. That's the sad part. Not unlike Paper Mario. Not unlike Mario Party for Switch. they've been really confused on updating Super Mario Maker 2. And I think that's hurt the game. I think it's hurt its popularity. It hurt its potential popularity. But because right now I've seen, like I said, I saw a guy who had I want to say 2.5 thousand subscribers, like 2,500 subscribers. And what's up, Laker Link? What's up, Nintendo guy? And today he has 16,000 subscribers. I'm talking within a week. 16,000 subscribers, and his videos are getting 60, 70, 80,000 views. And they're all around new stuff to do in Animal Crossing. And that's the stuff that I used to see with Mario Maker 2. Am I a little jelly about that? A guy who, for years, like me, was sitting at a few thousand subscribers is now kind of broke through with Mario Maker or with Animal Crossing. Yeah, but for me, it's just like I can't focus on a game like that. Now, I'm sure this person didn't expect to do so, but when he did that video, the first one on his first video, Animal Crossing, and he saw 100,000 views, he was like, "Well, I got to keep making Animal Crossing videos," and so that's what he did. And I've had a couple of videos like that about a specific game or a concept that broke big for me. One, I really couldn't do much with because one was a Wii U video. What could have saved it? And one was like about a game that I don't think still has come out yet. Still hasn't come out yet, or maybe it has. I can't remember what it was, but that video got like 70,000 views. And those are the type of videos, that will grow your channel if you stick to them. Yeah, the Super Mario Maker 2 update needed to be out before Animal Crossing. Yeah, totally. Because now, especially now, it's not going to, do much. And it's sad because, man, is it awesome. It is awesome. It's brought a lot to the table. I mean, I didn't think they would do Super Mario Brothers 2 because it's very different. It's not, technically it's not a Mario game. It's, Doki Doki Panic, which is, I love Super Mario Brothers 2, US, and I think it's awesome. And I love that it's so different from the first one. And we still use characters from that game, enemies and whatnot. So, and new Mario games. So that's great. Like, and it was made by the Mario team, so it wasn't like it was some weird team. It just, you can go look up the history if you don't know Doki Doki Panic. I'm sure you do. But to be able to because all these other Mario updates or inclusions in the game, like Mario 1 style, Mario 3, Mario World, and even 3D World, they're all similar as far as the mechanics. You jump on things and you squish them. You don't jump on stuff and you land there and you're walking, you're riding on top of something. It doesn't have those Mario Brothers 2 mechanics. So to be able to implement that and have it work, and still, it's good. I think I think specifically certain things are tied to that style. You have to be in the Mario Maker, is it 1 style to get the 2 stuff? It's kind of strange, but I get it. You're in, or is it 3? I can't remember. What the clock did say? Terminator. The clock did say it doesn't matter about Animal Crossing being out. I don't. What are you talking about there? I missed it. Maybe it was a conversation you guys were having in the Google Hangout or something. I don't know. But yeah, like there was a lot of cool stuff there and a lot of stuff to dig into. And it's a game that I've been meaning to go back to, and I'm definitely going to go back to. I'm probably going to start after the stream and just mess around and, see what I can do. Now, actually, like, being able to do the world map and all that is awesome. Like, and the funny thing is, for me, a game like Mario Maker 2 would be easier for me to get into and do, because it's an adventure style game, and I think I would have more initiative in putting together that kind of world. But it's not. From what I've seen, the world games have to have, kind of traditional Mario style mechanics, platforming and whatnot. But I could be wrong. I got to look it up. I haven't delved completely into it. So his video about how it isn't too late for the update. See, I didn't even know. I haven't been on at all since probably yesterday. So I missed his video. So now I got to watch that. But I agree with you. I said it before you even typed it there, that I think it's too late. No, is it too late as far as it's not a cool edition now because it's so late? No, it's still an awesome edition, but it's certainly too late for anybody to care as far as the popularity, as far as people going to be going crazy. Yeah, you'll have a few people that'll put something together and be like, oh my God, that's amazing. But I think it's not going to reach the heights, especially now that Animal Crossing is out. It's not going to, blow somebody's channel up like I've seen Animal Crossing do within a week. I'm telling you, the guy got 14,000 subscribers within 4 or 5 days time and hundreds of thousands of views. So it's not going to do that. Mario Maker 2 update is not going to, final update, it's not going to do that. And it's sad because I think Nintendo just lazily rolled out the updates and didn't really have a schedule for it, and that's unfortunate. Let's see what Nintendo guy said here. He said it a little bit back. The issue I have with Super Mario Maker 2 is the level creators seem to be getting far less viewer traffic than Super Mario Maker 1. So you're saying the same thing I said, Nintendo guy. Yeah, the Wii U's install base was a lot smaller with the first game, allowing less competition. Yeah. And I mean, that may have something to do with it as well. There was so much kind of fanfare around it because, the Wii U was an underdog console and, more people were just really on that game when it came out. It could be that. I don't think it is, though. I just think Nintendo hasn't rolled that game out update-wise as well as it did. The first one hasn't. Mario Maker 2 has not been rolled out the expert way that Mario Maker 1 was. And I've seen people who are huge fans of 1 barely or not even talk about 2. And saying, guys, it's hard to share your creations in the second game since they keep constantly getting overshadowed by crap level design by little kids. Yeah, I mean, it's probably another thing. It's probably oversaturation because there's a lot more people now. So your stuff gets overshadowed. I mean, think of that guy that spent days and days and days and maybe even weeks on the Legend of Zelda a Link to the Past map that he put together for his Animal Crossing island. That's something that should have been done in Mario Maker, because now you can make a map. You can't make. I don't think you can make a map as big as a Link to the Past map. But maybe you could have made a connected thing with the 8 worlds. But that's the type of stuff that you would see, that you would have saw in Mario Maker, that Animal Crossing just completely stole that thunder, because you can make, if you've seen that, it's amazing what that guy did. I watched, what was it, Game Explain? They had him on, and he was explaining it and walking around the map and showing what he did and how he put all that stuff together, and it's crazy. And that's the kind of stuff you would see in Mario Maker, but that thunder was completely stolen by Animal Crossing. New Horizons. So it's I would say it's too late. Now, is it too late for people like me and you to enjoy it? I don't think so. Um, but think about this: if you're somebody who's really gonna go in and make a crazy world, go in and make your own Super Mario World game, are you really incentivized to do that? Are you really uh, motivated to do that when you see the fanfare isn't really there? Will your thing that you spend so much time on even get noticed? Now you could just do it for yourself, of course. But I think if you build a world, you want people to enjoy it, and you know, I think another thing I think is the Miiverse. The Miiverse was so awesome on Wii U, and it was an easy way to get a lot of people to check out your stuff, to see your stuff. It's not Twitter, it's a focused bunch of people, grouping of people, and I hope Nintendo was able to see that. That Miiverse was a big part of Mario Maker, the first one, working so well and having so much fanfare, because that community, everybody was in. Everybody saw your stuff or could see your stuff, and it was a lot easier than it is unless you're like a big YouTuber, to just share your stuff on Twitter. So I think Miiverse is a big missing piece to that Mario Maker 2 puzzle that also kind of hurt its fanfare, you know. King Boom, I miss Miiverse. Me too, man. I bring it up probably every live stream, but it's really, I'm so confused by Nintendo's lack of foresight with Miiverse. I don't know why they think it wasn't a good thing. Like they talked about during the Switch event in 2017, before it came out, that little launch event. They talked about how they took all these other things from this Nintendo console, from that Nintendo console. They took these things. So they were thinking about, stuff that they liked and stuff that worked on those consoles. And they must have just felt that Miiverse wasn't one of those things, which is very confusing to me. And not only Miiverse, but on the 3DS, Spot Pass or Street Pass. Like, Street Pass is great, and you have a what am I looking at? You have a console that's portable, that you can get those hits if you take it. Everybody takes it everywhere. I see Switches all the time, and they just don't care about Street Pass even. And I'm like, that was a popular console. So what was the excuse for not bringing Street Pass back? I saw the Switch and I was like, yeah, Street Pass is definitely going to be a part of it. No. That's another thing that I think hurts that community. What do you say, Juice? Since Mario Maker 2 released on the Switch, got Fire Emblem, Luigi's Mansion 3, Pokemon, and Assassin's Creed, Animal Crossing. So people moved on pretty quickly from making levels. Yeah, I mean, I think that's partially true, but if you like a game, that won't matter. Like, PlayStation 3 got games regularly all the time, but people were still big on Little Big Planet, making levels and sharing them and stuff. What's the new game? Dreams. People are still doing really cool things in Dreams, and the PlayStation 4 gets games all the time. So I don't think it's just the fact that people don't have, or people didn't have a lot of games on Wii U. That's why Mario Maker did it. No, I don't think that was it. I think that sense of community is so blah on Switch in many ways, because you don't have that sense of community. I mean, you can't even message your friends, and you couldn't message your friends on Wii U either. But you had Miiverse, so you could put messages out there that your friends could comment on. So it's at least that. I say, oh, you can just put out there in the Mario Maker community, I made a new level. Everybody who's in that community can see it. Unlike, the Switch. It's cut off. You could put it out on Twitter that I made a new level, but unless you're a big YouTuber, nobody's gonna care. Nobody's gonna go to see your level. But the Wii U made it so easy with Miiverse. You can just go to the Mario Maker 2 or Mario Maker community on Miiverse and post there, and people would see it. People would go there. So I don't understand how Nintendo got that wrong. Like, yes, Wii U didn't do well. It was a commercial failure. But the Miiverse wasn't why. You know, 3DS did well, and yet you still didn't bring back Street Pass, which was pretty popular. It's definitely at events. People love Street Pass. I loved it. So I just don't. They have sometimes Nintendo, man. They got this disconnect, and fans throughout the years have always brought that up. So, it is what it is. It could be that Nintendo dropped Miiverse because it was too expensive to monitor constantly. Bruh, like you're trying to find a excuse, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. You're not wrong for doing that. You're trying to give, or because I come up with excuses as well, or things that I think could be the reason. But Nintendo is a $30 billion company. Like, they can hire somebody from minimum wage even to run that, and it won't hurt them to run Miiverse, or a group of people, So I thought about that too, Nintendo. I'm not trying to be, funny with you here or anything. But that's what I said about myself. I'm like, well, that's not the best excuse, because they're making more money than they've made in a long time. Than they've made since the Wii. And they made stupid money on that, and they're making stupid money now. You have software that can, pick out words or whatever. That can catch words, specific words. That's already there. You can have that. A lot of, the thing you're using right now has that. The chat. If you say certain words, it won't let your post. It won't let your comment post until I approve it. So, that could be the same thing, and you could use the fans as well. Like I'm not gonna call. I don't like calling people who subscribe to me my fans. I'm not a celebrity, but people who use Miiverse could be administrators. So you can get by a lot of that cost, because that's what YouTubers do when they have live streams. They have people who are administrators. They allow people to do things, and you could do that with the fan base, and they would love that. Are you kidding me? Like, I'm an administrator on Miiverse. Like, who wouldn't want to do that? What fan, who at the time anyway, would want to do that? Fans around the world could totally do that, and they can go through and approve and disapprove stuff. So, I mean, there's ways. Miiverse can't cost that much. It can't. It couldn't have been that much of a cost. I don't know what it is. I just think, because if you say that, but then why can't we have? I mean, I guess you could say the same thing about not being able to message people. But again, you can regulate what people say with keywords. Certain keywords you're not allowed to say. Now, people can get around it with little trickery in their wording and whatnot, and you kind of get it. You kind of understand what they're saying. But I was on Rocket League on PC the other day because I had to re-download some stuff. I don't know, something happened, went wonky when I fixed my computer. So I went on there. I was playing a game, and I tried to say WTF, and it wouldn't even let me type WTF. It put the little asterisks, 3 asterisks for WTF. So I'm like, if they can do that for WTF, it's not even a curse word. It's just, it's an abbreviation for cursing. But it wouldn't even allow me to do that. Nintendo can't do that? Of course they can. So I just think it's stupid that they just let Miiverse die like that, because it was one of the best things they came up with, and you can't tell me they didn't have an idea that the fans loved it. I saw post after post after post all the time. The communities were doing really well, especially in the first couple of years of it. I guess it slowed down towards the end, especially when you heard that it was going to go away. But I mean, the drawings, all that stuff, people were engaged, and that was just a small group. Imagine, with the install base of Switch, what you can get. Like, even if you say, okay, Miiverse was kind of weak towards the end, we ended it. Obviously because the Wii U didn't sell well, but once the Switch broke 20 million, when you be like, oh, we should probably bring Miiverse back. It can only help us with this install base. I don't get it. Because, Nintendo does, like I said earlier, they've been doing weird things, even with games that, you would think they would be on more, like Mario Maker 2. It's weird. It's been a weird update release schedule for that game, and it's over now. Splatoon was pretty good. Splatoon was really good. Splatoon 2. Splatoon 1 was good. Splatoon 2 was good. So they seem to care about that game. But like I said, Paper Mario, I keep calling Mario Party, Super Mario Party, and it's a game that sold well. And they've done nothing updating that game. And I'm like, that game is so made for updating, but they don't care. So I think they just are they're just disjointed. They've always been that way. Like, at least as far as I've known Nintendo, they've always been really disjointed. They're really good at something, and you're like, why did you screw this up so bad? So it's the frustration of a Nintendo fan. If you care enough about this kind of stuff, this is the kind of stuff that drives you insane. Laker Link, I love Wii U TV. Yeah, it was great. I loved it too. I would post. I watched shows using it. It needed more. I think it needed a little more, and it wasn't out everywhere. It was only out in North America, I believed. Right? It was supposed to come out in Europe, and it never did. That's something I think would be a little bit more expensive, because it had to tie in with TV shows. Like, that's, to me, if you were going to get rid of something, that would have been the thing. I mean, they kind of did, obviously, but if I said Wii U TV, what was it called? Was it called Wii U TV or Miiverse? I would say, yeah, give me Miiverse. Screw Wii U TV. I don't need it, because I don't watch live TV a whole lot outside of sporting events. So I watch, like, football and stuff. I would use it during football. But they should have seen the writing on the wall with that, because not many people watch live TV anymore. And even at the time, that was starting to, people were starting to do streaming. People were starting to watch way more, not live or not streaming, but what's it called? You would record it and watch it later. DVR. People were using DVRs a lot more too. So a whole lot more at that time. So if you were gonna not do something that probably cost you some good money, Wii U TV would have been it. They probably thought, once they saw Microsoft, TV, they thought, we made the right choice. No, you didn't. Microsoft was wrong too. Clearly. I mean, they had games that were tying into TV shows, and no one cared. What's that? Quantum Break. Nobody cared about that. Although I did really like the Halo series. That was pretty cool. I did enjoy that a lot, but they missed the mark on that. So, yeah, I mean, that's pretty much all I have on that. The update subject. It was sports was the best. Yeah, sports was the best. Laker Link on Wii U TV. But that's a small part for me. That was a few basketball games here and there, football on Sunday, and that was pretty much it. So I don't think it was getting used enough to justify probably its operating costs. So, but I mean, I enjoyed it while it lasted. And I feel sad that not everybody got to use it. But yeah, so moving on. Now I was supposed to look up because I didn't remember the names. So maybe while I'm here, I like to be prepared as far as my topics go and what I'm going to talk about. But why not just go ahead and kind of do this now? Oh, wait a minute. Let's see. So I'm going to go ahead because I know we're going to talk about the Wii, look at me, I'm still on Wii U. We're going to talk about the May games for Switch. And for some people, this is probably one of the best lineups in gaming that they've ever seen. But for me, this is just like one of the weakest. So let me see if I can, because I did try to find a list of the games, because I don't remember the names, but I know what they are. Well, I remember the names for the bigger ones, but there's smaller ones that I don't remember the names for. So let me see if I could bring them up. I saw them in I saw some of them in a RGT 85 video.
The 2020 census is important.
Yeah. Yes, the 2020 census is important. All right, so let me see if I can maybe scroll through here. I would put it up, but I don't remember. I don't want to screw up anything. So let's see. This is one really cool. Okay, here it is. Gun Crazy comes out on the 1st. That looks pretty cool. It is. I think it's on Steam right now. But I think it's like a $5 game, and it looks really cool. I like that. And it's May 1st as the May game. So I'm looking at that. And then I'm just trying to focus on the ones I care about here. There's another one, Super Smash, or Super Mash. That looks interesting. It's like you can mash like genres together. It's another indie style game. That looks pretty cool. You can mash like RPG and platformer or shooter and whatever, So that looked interesting. Let's see. What's that one that's like a horror? The Persistence. That's another game. It's kind of like I think it's like a roguelike, which I'm not too big a fan of, but most of the roguelikes I've seen are kind of the roguelikes I've seen are kind of 2D, very samey, not really my steez, but this is like a 3D first person game. I think it used to be a VR game, and it converted it over. And then Ninjala is one I'm certainly looking forward to. Ninjala looks like Splatoon, it's like an action game, very colorful. I really still not keen on like how you score or how that works, but it brought me in based on the visual alone. And I'm sure that was no mistake. That was no accident with this company. Kind of looks like that Nickelodeon splat kind of uh, Splatoon colorful kind of game. So that's definitely on my radar, and it's free. So it's free to play, and that's another thing that I want to see what that's about, because having free to play games are great, but they don't hold me usually, because obviously they're online only. That's one reason, but the gameplay for me, for a lot of them, gets monotonous. So and so then let's get into the slightly bigger games before we get into the biggest games. Adam's Venture, I believe that comes out the 29th or so. That game is probably right up my alley. It is a Tomb Raider style kind of adventure game where I guess you're more like a Nathan Drake type of character. Some people have said it's like a somewhat clonish of Uncharted, but I'm not really sure. But I don't really feel that way, because there are puzzles in Uncharted, but they're not that deep. It's more about the characters. It's more about Nathan Drake personality, that kind of stuff. Those games are the gunplay than it is puzzles. But this game doesn't have any no combat. I believe it doesn't have any combat in it. It's all about puzzles, which I love. So that interests me. And then we'll get into the big 3 or 4, maybe. So you have XCOM Collection, which I only care about XCOM because everybody said when Rabbids came out, or Mario plus Rabbids came out, that it was inspired by XCOM. It has very, very similar gameplay to XCOM. And so that's the only reason I care, because I really like the gameplay style of Mario plus Rabbids. So that was, that's cool. And then you have, they call it Collection, but I think it's only XCOM 2 with like DLC and stuff. So it's kind of strange. I guess they felt like we had all these other collections, so why not? What's up, Zeno? What's up, Marshy Plays? Welcome. I think I said hi to everybody else. Yeah, so that is the thing. But I think if you, I don't know, it might do okay. But I think if you're an XCOM fan, you've already played it. And I'm not sure if this game will make you want to play XCOM being dropped on the Switch. Because I don't know if it's that kind of game that people are like, oh, let me check that out finally. I'm not sure if that's it. And then you have Borderlands Handsome Collection, which is the pre-sequel, and Borderlands 2 with all the DLC. That's great. I maybe would have considered getting it. It would have been like my third time buying Borderlands and stuff. Borderlands 2. So I don't know about that. But it's not, you have to download stuff. It's not on the cart. Or is there even a cart? I don't know if it might be digital only. I can't remember. So that's a no for me. Downloading indie games, smaller games, digital only, that's fine for me. But, big games, no. Nope. Definitely not. So you have, what did I say, Borderlands, and then you have BioShock. The BioShock collection, which is BioShock, is it BioShock 1 and 2 and Infinite? I think 2 is in there, right? But again, I bought those games, I played those games, beat them on 360. And I would have, quote unquote, double dipped perhaps at a good price and on a cart, but not on a cart. So no buy. It's the reason I haven't touched Outer Worlds. And there's some funny things going on with that even. I think there's some stuff, there's like a patch you got to download. There's like 6 gigs. It's not too bad, but I would hope the game is functional without that patch. But that's me thinking about stuff way off in the future. So I don't know if I'm overthinking that one, but um, I'm not feeling downloading these major, 20 gig games or 15, 10. Once you get past like 10 gigs, you know, 8 gigs really is when I don't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not something I care to do. So, Santiago, only Borderlands 1 is on the cart. Yeah, no, that's a pass. All the Bioshock games, though, only one is on the cart as well. So only Bioshock 1 is on the cart, and that's a no buy, you know. And again, I would only have bought it for quote unquote to have the collection, to have those games portable, and maybe play them in the future. But I'm not going to invest in playing those games right now again anyway. So there's no incentive for me to go out and get them. With them being only the first game on the cart, that's weak sauce. And if you're gonna do it, you know, if it's a space issue, which I kind of understand. I'm trying to. Borderlands 2 was a double disc, but I mean, obviously these are remasters, so there's probably more. But Borderlands, or not Borderlands, I'm thinking of Bioshock. Bioshock 2, I believe, maybe it was only one disc on 360. I don't know. So that's 8 gigs. You know, compression. You telling me you couldn't get 1 and 2 on the cart for 16 gigs, and then maybe you download 3, or maybe 3 is on a separate cart at $20. I mean, I just don't. I don't understand. Or 25 tops. Put 3 by itself on a cart. Because Bioshock 3, it's a sequel, but it kind of has a subtitle. It's not Bioshock 3. It's called Bioshock Infinite. So maybe you would have got away with Bioshock 1 and 2 collection, and then Bioshock 3 also separately for $25 on a cart. I just don't understand. Because for me, the draw for a big draw for the Switch was games being on cartridges again, and load times, and none of that has come to fruition. So that was just wishful thinking, I guess. Let's see. Gabriel, you can play my sentence? Huh? What? What are you sharing? Oh, your is that your level, Mario Maker or something? Um, yes, no, maybe. Anyway, so you have. I don't know about XCOM though. Do you know about XCOM, Santiago? Is that all on a cart? I would hope so, because basically one game. They're calling it collection, because there's a bunch of DLC stuff. So I haven't played XCOM, so that's maybe one that I would think about, but only if it's all in a cart. But Bioshock and Borderlands is out. I'm not buying, games that I already have on a physical medium. Why would I buy something digital that I already have physically? The enhancements are not that big of a deal, not big enough for me to care. Eves? I have no idea what you're saying, Gabriel. um, anyway, so if you guys have any thoughts on it, go ahead and drop a line in the chat. But I don't care for that. Now, there's one more. And it's a game called Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. Now, people have been jumping up and down, losing their minds, trying to let people know, or trying to tell people that this game is a remake built ground up. No, it's not. Get over it. It's okay that it's not. It's not. That's not a knock against the game. It is a remaster. I call it a remakester because they've done a whole lot with the character designs, but animations, all that stuff is very much what we've already had. Laker Link, I have never played BioShock. I'm getting it for sure. Okay, yeah. So, like I said, if you haven't played it, these are great, great additions. And it's obviously, if you don't care about downloading, that's great. But for me, I watched these games already. I think I beat BioShock, the first one, twice. I didn't care for 2 as much. I beat that one. And I like 3 or Infinite a lot better. And I think I played it. I beat it and I started playing it again. I never finished the second playthrough. So, yeah, I'm good. I'm not gonna go digital for stuff that I already have physically, unless it's just that much compelling. But I haven't seen anything like that yet. So like I said, Xenoblade Chronicles DE Definitive Edition. It is not a remake. If you own the game, which I do, I own it twice. I own it on Wii and I own it on 3DS. You can clearly see the animations, cutscene stuff, all that is just, it's redone, visually redone, but the assets are definitely the same. And that's fine. I don't know why there's a debate about this. It's not a knock against the game. It's a remaster. It's mostly a remaster. And you can say that some of the character designs have kind of a more remake quality to them, but that's it. But that's fine. It still looks great. But that's another game that, well, I don't need to get that game day one because, it's, not a whole lot is done to it. That I can, oh man, I gotta go out and run and play that 100-hour game again because I'm not, overly excited to do that. But as I said before, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition is different from ports or remake situations before because this game has never gotten a fair shake. That's one of the things I pointed out is that this game has never gotten a fair shake. And I don't see a whole lot of people talking about that. Actually, I haven't seen anybody talk about it. I brought it up back when the game was announced and now, earlier this year. But I do think RGT said something about it in his video. But yeah, like this game has never had a fair shake. It came out at the end of the Wii's life, and it was only at GameStop. Then it came out on the 3DS, but only on the new 3DS. So not everybody, all those tens of millions of people who already had a 3DS at the time had to go out and buy a new system to play this one game, and that didn't happen. I wouldn't think a whole lot. So this game hasn't had a fair shake as far as being on the system and coming out at a time that was beneficial to it. But now it's coming out on a system that's 60 million strong or close to it install base, and it's still selling well. It's in the middle of its life, and this is perfect. This is a great time. I do believe you may lose some potential sales for people who saw Xenoblade Chronicles X even, or Xenoblade Chronicles 2 and said, those games aren't really for me. Maybe, you could have got somebody to buy it, this game, that wouldn't have bought it, or you would have got people that wouldn't have bought it to buy it, but because they've seen stuff, they've seen Xenoblade Chronicles 2, whatever, and they feel like, that's not my type of game. You won't get that impulse buy. You won't get that maybe I'll try it out buy. But I could be wrong about that. But anyway, so I'm not, and it's games on a cart. It's on a complete cartridge. Obviously, it's a Nintendo game, so. But again, if you haven't played Xenoblade Chronicles, but if you played Xenoblade Chronicles 2 or X even, and you're going back to Xenoblade Chronicles, it might be like going back to Bayonetta after playing Bayonetta 2, like, because the battle mechanics and whatnot is much better in the later games. So you may feel like you're taking a step back, unless the changes they've made are really significant to where it smooths out some of that more jankier stuff, or less smooth elements to that game. So, I mean, we'll have to see about that. Let's see. Nintendo Guy. I'm still disappointed about Fatal Frame 5 not getting a physical release for Wii U in North America. Me too, man. I have it digitally. And I've been eyeing like the Japanese version just to have a physical copy so I can feel better. But no way am I paying full price for a game that should have got a retail release. I did. I paid $50. Actually, I think it was at a discounted price when I got it. Maybe it was like 45 or something. But yeah, for a digital release, that's one of my biggest gripes about digital versus physical, is the price. If you're gonna release something physical, you're saving money as the company because you're not paying for shipping and distribution. So why are you still charging as much as you would something that I think that's probably my biggest issue with physical or digital versus physical up to this time, is that you're getting a discount. Why can't I? Why should you get the same much as you would charge me for a physical copy that I can take? That is a problem for me. I can't principally, that's not a word, I just made it up. I can't do it. It's just like when I buy the game physical, I have something physical that I can have and put somewhere, and it's mine, and I don't have to worry about internet connections or having to download. So I don't have to worry about any of that stuff. I just put it in and play. So, okay, charge me more for that. That's fine. But why are you charging me the same price for a digital thing that doesn't cost you anything? You just put it up on the server and it's downloaded, and it gets to way more people. And it's more convenient. Why am I still paying a full MSRP when you're not in the MSRP? When you're not at a retail space? That's just, I don't understand that. Give people an incentive to buy digital, like Steam does. Let's see. Laker Link. Are these the same character models from Wii? Just HD? No. That's what I was saying, Laker Link. It's not the same character models. These character models look more like the artwork from the game than the actual game. If you go and look at the Wii character models, they're similar, but no, they're not nearly as good. These character models are closer to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 than they are to Xenoblade Chronicles 1. So that's what I was saying about their almost remake mode. The character models are. I don't feel that way for the worlds. I mean, some worlds look, some parts of the world look better than others, but that's a Xenoblade Chronicles thing to begin with. Even in Xenoblade Chronicles 2, they have that issue where like some of the worlds look really good, some of the areas look really nice, and then some of them are just like kind of bland and kind of cheap looking. So yeah, the character models are definitely a huge step up. I will say that for sure. But animation, stuff like that, art design is very similar. Just better looking. Still the same art design. Off topic, says King Boom, and you don't have to answer now, but maybe in a future video. But what are your thoughts about the stagnation of my Nintendo? Boy, I try not to think about it too much because it's another one of those things that just depresses me as a Nintendo fan. I don't know why it sounds weird to say it. It sounds weird for some reason, but depress. I'm saying depresses me. My Nintendo is trash right now. It is trash. It used to be a really cool thing. With, the point structure and getting cool physical things, you don't get those anymore. It's lazy. It's just like, these are the things that make you Nintendo, that make you different. And you just want to stop doing them for some reason. I don't get it. Yeah, my Nintendo is a joke. It's pathetic. Why even have it at this point? Why not just do, the Wii U, digital, what was it called? The digital program? Digital promotion or whatever? Just do that. Do something like that. Which is basically all you're getting now anyway with my Nintendo. My Nintendo is just a way for you to log in to your Switch. Your Switch account. It's a joke. And again, this is one of those things about Nintendo that I don't get, why they just forget or don't care about things that fans really like. My Nintendo was very cool. The rewards, points program was very cool. The physical stuff you could get, they didn't want to, have to deal with that anymore. I guess they didn't want to have to deal with the logistics of running that part of Nintendo. Kind of like Nintendo Power. Nintendo Power should still be going right now. It could and should still be going. When you have people on, I don't have one near me, but when you have people on Kickstarter who, they charge $5 a month for Nintendo Force, and these are fans basically putting a magazine together every month. Oh yeah, my Club Nintendo is what I'm trying to say when I say my Nintendo, but it's basically all mashed into one now. But yeah, when you have, what, I think there's like 5 people that run Nintendo Force, if that many, and they can do it every month and get these people their magazines through the mail every month, and I get mine every month on time, no problems. Why can't Nintendo do that anymore? They just don't want to do it anymore. They don't want to deal with the logistics of running a magazine, which is very easy to do. If you gave the fans an option for Nintendo Power, instead of just outright getting rid of it, or Club Nintendo, if you gave the fans an option and said, hey, if you want to keep doing it, we may have to charge a little more, but this is how we'll keep it going for the fans who want it. It would still be going. People would still subscribe. And obviously it was way cheaper than what Nintendo Force does. Because if you were a member of Nintendo Power, what was it, like $22 a month? Or $22 a year? Was it that cheap? It was pretty cheap, I think. But, charge people more. Charge them $50 a year. I think people still would have done it. You still could have sustained that business, and you would have been the only people out there doing it. Because even though we have news every day, every minute of the day on YouTube and on the internet, period, um, I still love cracking open my Nintendo Force magazines and reading articles. There's something about having that physical thing in your hand and, you know, turning the pages and smelling the ink, you know. There's something about that. And there's more passion, I think, that goes into it when you have some kind of print, uh, you know. So we're losing that. We're losing that not just in gaming journalism, but journalism in general, newspapers and news magazines, and everything is so fake. We live in the era of fake, clickbait, fake bullshit news, where people have to pretend that they're excited about stuff that they're not excited about, and you can tell if you have any sensibilities, if you have any way of reading people's characteristics and reading people, period, you can know that they're not excited about these things. They're only excited about the revenue that comes from you clicking on to their garbage. And it just, I can't, I'm a real person. I can't roll with this era of fake. It just, I can't. It's just not in my DNA. There's a lot of opportunities that I miss because I can't rock like that. Unfortunately, for my wallet. But, I have to be who I am. Some people can fake it, man. Fake it and make it. I can't. So, let's see. Laker Link, I got the Zelda Collector's Edition for GameCube because I subscribed to Nintendo Power. Yeah, me too. That's how I got mine. Was that the one with Zelda 1, 2? Because there was two of them. Well, there was the N64 collection that came with Zelda, Ocarina of Time, Master Quest. I can't remember which one it was. Was it the other one that came with the Zelda and Zelda 2? And there was something else on that disc. But yeah, that's how I got mine. So, again, cool incentives for the fans. And they don't seem to care about that stuff anymore. And they were the only ones left caring about that stuff, because I think they were the only ones that actually ran their own magazine stuff. It was actually funded by them. I think some of the other stuff, like official PlayStation magazine, I don't know if Sony had a part in that. They may have. I can't remember. Same thing for Xbox. But yeah, I miss that stuff. I know the world we live today, you can just click, like I'm clicking right now. You can just click on stuff, and that's it. But I think print still has a place, even if it's more niche. I think it still has a place, because I like having, the magazine with the pictures in it. That's actually a video series I'd like to do, is like where I just kind of go through old magazines and talk about some of the articles and fan mail and all that kind of stuff. I think that would be fun. Let's see, Majora's Mask. Yeah, that's the one you're talking about. There's Zelda NES 1 and 2 and Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask. Okay. Yeah, I have it, but I can't remember. I haven't looked at them in forever. So, yeah, I mean, they just keep getting rid of these things or downsizing these things that were very cool, that I thought were part of the personality, part of their DNA. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So my final topic isn't a topic. I just threw it up there for some reason. My PC is back, as you can see. I got my layout back. I'm gonna be tweaking it still, and I can get into Twitch on my PC where I couldn't do it on my Mac. I was just about to get started, and then PC dies. And I think the only problem with it was the power supply. But here's the thing with that. There's a test you do to test your power supply if that's the problem. And my power supply passed the test. So I'm like, oh man. So I pulled out my CPU, and kind of because I thought maybe the heat sink wasn't, maybe the heat sink was failing, so I wanted to change the heat sink, pull that out, resynced it, and then actually, if you know anything about the CPU, they have hundreds or even 1,000 little teeth or little leads that come out the bottom that go into this hole that go into these holes on your motherboard. So you line them up. So I guess I didn't line it up right, and I bent a few of them, and so I put it in my PC and see if it would work. Still wouldn't work. Pulled it out, and I noticed that I bent the little teeth or whatever. You need those to connect to your motherboard, and I was actually able to rebend them using like a razor blade. I just went down every row and lined them back up, so that was good. But I thought maybe I screwed it up somehow, even after unbending them. All the while, my power supply was the issue, but I didn't know it at the time. Again, I did the test on the power supply, and it turned on and it worked. So, but then I did more research and I watched a bunch of videos, and they were like, well, your power supply may pass that simple test, but it doesn't mean that it's distributing the right amount of wattage. It could be less wattage. It still works, but it's not delivering enough wattage to your motherboard and your CPU. And I'm like, So I just, after buying a new CPU, because I thought, I've been and I screwed it up, realized that I could just send that thing back because mine was still fine. And I got a power supply, and then that worked. So, and I got one that put out a lot more wattage, like 200 watts more than what I had at 550, and I bought a 750 for future proofing as well, when I do decide to upgrade my CPU at some point. So yeah, that was a nice little adventure that I hate to go on. One of the reasons I hate PCs, one of the reasons I left PCs, happily left them once I went to film school and started doing Macs. Now, obviously, PC has a lot of advantages. You can build them, for one, so you can build them to your specifications. And gaming, you don't game on a Mac unless you just have no other choice. I don't know why you would do that. So, Mac. I mean, Steam is on Mac too, but there's a lot of games that just won't run on on a Mac. So you get 100% on your PC. So, but as far as like what I do, I would never edit on the PC ever. We did it once when I was in film school. We had this class called Avid, and I think Avid means something completely different to school kids today. I think it's for something else. But Avid was the major Hollywood software for editing at the time. A lot of the old, classic editors used Avid systems, and Final Cut was just coming up, and Adobe Premiere and all that stuff was just coming up. Sony Vegas, whatnot. But once I got my hands on Final Cut, I was like, yeah, what? Why? And then after that, I had, you know, an Avid course, just so they can cover the bases. Because, like I said, Hollywood was still about, at the time, I want to say like 60, 70% Avid. And so they wanted to teach us Avid, even though, you know, we were a Mac based kind of film school. And it was changing at the time. It was changing more towards Macs. So we did the Avid thing. The system never worked. It like never properly worked ever. And so they ended up, because we would go in every day, and those PCs were just terrible. They would not run, and they were good PCs, but it just kept crashing. The system kept crashing, kept crashing, kept crashing, and so we were like, okay, what do we do? They basically ended up giving everybody an A because we could never get the Avid to work, and so I, from that moment, vowed to never use a Mac or a PC to edit on. But Final Cut is just such an amazing editing software. It's like, now Final Cut is the software. You know, there are a lot of guys that use Premiere as well, but Final Cut is the most used editing suite when it comes to editing in Hollywood now, or even television. I mean, you still may find some people using Avid, but I don't even know if Avid gets updated anymore. It might. It's so outdated now. So, so yeah, my PC is good for this stuff, live streaming and all that. But as far as motion graphic stuff that I do, editing that I do, it's all about my Mac. They're just better built for that stuff. But you know, again, you can build a rig to do what you want. I just don't like working in Windows. That's another thing. But you know, like I said, there's guys that were at my film school that were in other courses that did 3D animation and stuff like that, and all those guys did it on PC. I don't think I would probably, if I was into 3D animation, I'd probably do it on PC as well. So, you know, I mean, guys would come to college with their PC tower under their arm, you know, because they built that rig and they would rather use their stuff than the school stuff. So, the Game Master 21, what's up? What's up? But I'm boring you guys with that stuff anyway. But yeah, so I ain't really got much else. I just wanted to get on because I was happy to have my setup back, my PC back in order here. I do need to upgrade my graphics card though. I don't need to because it's fine for what I do. Because I don't do a lot of gaming of like new games. But there is stuff that I might want to get into. Like I want to get Witcher 3 on PC because I think it's so cool that I'd be able to go back and forth with my saves. And if I want to play it at home, or if I just want to, or Witcher 3 somewhere else in my house where I'm not tied to my TV. I want to progress. So that's a cool thing. So I might buy the PC version of Witcher 3. I'm pretty sure I will. It's not, I might. So that's cool. But as far as buying a new game on Switch, it's going to be a while. It's going to be after E3. I mean, sometimes I'll see stuff that I've been waiting to buy, and I might pick up that. But at this point, you know, a lot of people are trying to save their money, which is what you should do. So I probably won't be buying any new stuff. Unless there's something that just screams at me. And I know it's at a price that it's going to be good and later on it's going to be expensive. Then I'll probably pick that up. But like going out and getting BioShock or even Xenoblade Chronicles DE for Switch. I'm not gonna. I'm probably gonna. I know I'm not gonna get that day one. That's gonna be a later on type of thing. So, yep. I mean, that's pretty much it. I know my streams are usually longer, but I think I will do. Uh, a game stream. I'm gonna get my Twitter together, so I'm gonna take some time tomorrow, so I can simultaneously stream on Twitch, simultaneously stream on Twitch and YouTube at the same time. And that's something I wanted to do before, but I couldn't even stream live stream games with my PC or my Mac. It's just not gonna happen. It was not happening. Not my MacBook anyway is not strong enough, and my desktop Mac is not connected to the internet. It is a workstation only. So, uh, episode 1 racer for Switch, yeah, don't care. So, Laker Link. Maybe I'll get it down the line somewhere, but I have episode 1 racer on N64 and on Dreamcast. So, I'm not in a hurry to go grab that either. And depends on, again, the price. But it's not even if I bought that game, it's not like a game I'm gonna be actively playing. I bought Turok 1 and 2, which I kind of regret, but it's kind of cool to have N64 games on your Switch enhanced. So that's kind of cool. But I don't play those games. Like, even when I think about playing Turok, I think about firing up the N64 versions. Because of the controls. I just like those controls. Yeah, Streets of Rage, I already bought that. Streets of Rage 4. I already bought and paid for it on limited run, so it just has to show up. I'm talking about like buying something actively from this minute till July. Probably not. And that's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. And I mean, there's still some stuff in my wish list that I might pick up. Some smaller indie stuff. But that's it. Maybe Outer Worlds, but again, I don't know. Depends on when that comes out. But yeah, there's stuff that I wanted to grab, like Ni no Kuni. I haven't played that at all. It was a PS3 game that I was always thinking about getting. I just never got around to buying. And then, there's other small little things out there that are on my wish list. But like a new big Switch game, it might not be to the fall that I buy one of those. So that's kind of whack. I wish that wasn't the case. But as it is what it is. There's nothing compelling enough for me. And even like Streets of Rage, that's not like a big game. It's an indie-ish type of game. It's Sega published and whatnot, but it's an indie studio, indie developers. I'm talking about a big, full-fledged new game. Outer Worlds is that June? Okay. So and that's still a maybe, depending on the logistics of that game. Like I said, I don't know what we're downloading. Do I have to download that for the game to function? Because then that means the game isn't on the cart. So we'll see. I just want to see what the game runs like without that patch, if it even runs. So, because if it doesn't run, it's like, why can't you guys swing for a bigger cart? And what is the cart size? It ain't 32. Nintendo should be on the help out if that game needs to be on a 32 gig cart. and they're making you download stuff because it can't fit. I mean, that's not what I wanted, or what I was expecting of the Switch when they first talked about, it being cartridges. So yeah, I mean, those things are disappointing to me. So I will not partake. Let's see. If I remember right, that 6 GB download is for upping the resolution. Okay. If that's the case, I mean, I've heard that too. But if that's clearly the case, then that makes it different. You know, that's something that works for me. Works, because it's an option thing. So, I mean, The Witcher 3 has that as well. There's an update. I don't think it's that big, but there's an update so you can get the extra features so you can do stuff like that. So, I can't be a hypocrite about it, but we'll have to see what it entails. I think if that's the case, then that's fine. I can rock with that. If as long as I'm not required, because I'll download it if it's there. But it's a principle thing. It's like, you guys can put this thing in a cart. Why not? 6 gigs. We couldn't spring for a bigger cart, or long as it's not something that is required for the game to run. If it's an incentive and if it's an extra, great. I'll certainly download it. Weird. We still haven't seen any Switch footage. Yeah, that is very weird. That we haven't seen any Switch footage at this point. The game is coming out in June. Why don't we have anything on it? Are they waiting for the patch to show? Does it run that bad, or look that bad without the visual bump, that they don't even want to show it until they finish that patch? Because that would be a little worrisome. Who's doing the port? I don't remember. Is it Panic Button or a different place? Or no? Isn't it the guys who did Witcher 3? Is it Saber Interactive or something like that? If you know, drop a comment. But yeah, I don't know. Just don't know. But yeah, that would, like I said, and then again, I'm waiting on that game. I can go buy that game right now for $30. I'm just being a Nintendo fan about it, because I'd rather have it for Switch if I can get it. But I mean, I guess that's not really the right word. I was gonna say, I guess it's lucky with the situation going on in the world that Nintendo doesn't have a whole lot to talk about right now, or they don't want to talk about anything right now, because they can use that as an excuse. Like, well, hey, we don't want to talk about too much or put too much out right now, because there's a lot of this crazy stuff going on in the world. But we're in late April, about to hit May, and all we officially have to look forward to is a game that came out 9 years ago. At least a better looking version from Nintendo. That's all we officially have to look forward to. That's confirmed. I mean, I don't get that. I don't understand that. I hope they blow my mind, because I'm gonna be really, with the rest of the year, I hope they got something up their sleeves, because at this point I don't think it's going to be a Mario game. Because why would you put out a new Mario game in the midst of putting out a remasters, if that's true? I think there was a listing that made it seem more true, or made it seem more like it was true. But if that's true, would you put out Odyssey 2 in the midst of that? I don't know if I'd do that. Yeah, I think it's Saber Santiago. Um, who knows? Nintendo does it wildest things, so they could still do that. Breath of the Wild 2, I don't think that'll be this year. I think it'll be early spring, like spring next year. So you better have something that blows my mind, especially with these new consoles coming out. You gotta make some noise to not be forgotten. I don't think it's gonna be that great a launch for these consoles anyway. I mean, the fans are gonna be there. The hardcore will be there, but I don't think it will get too much. I don't think they'll get too much fervor beyond like the core fans this holiday anyway. But Nintendo likes to put out something when, even though they act like they're not in competition, they like to put out something to say, hey, remember us during that. I mean, the most notorious thing they did was put out the Virtual Boy, just to have some hardware out there with Sony and Sega. Because they had to push back the Ultra 64 or the N64. They had to push it back, so they didn't have any hardware for '95, and they pushed Gunpei Yokoi to put out a product that wasn't ready. It's not what he wanted to put out. Luckily, he got to put out the Wonder Swan. I don't know if you guys don't know that. He put out. Who was the Wonder Swan? Who paid for that? Who was the company behind Wonder Swan? Before passing suddenly in a car crash in '97, I want to say. So yeah, you guys, I remember a lot of this stuff because I own the Nintendo Bible. So I've read that stuff religiously. That's why I remember that kind of stuff. But so I'm hoping they have something, that's gonna just blow my socks off this fall, this holiday season. Like, this is Nintendo I'm talking about right here. Because like even if Bayonetta 3 comes out, that's not Nintendo. I'm talking about Nintendo game. I need you to what's the word I'm looking for? I'm having trouble on these lights coming up with words. To reassure my confidence in you as a company, as the greatest company. I mean, you got to make the greatest games to keep that. So make some greatest games, because ports, remasters ain't gonna be enough for me. It would be enough for some people, but this console is doing too well. Bandai, yeah, thank you, Nintendo guy. Nintendo guy. Who else said that? Somebody else said it. No, it's just Nintendo guy. Yeah, you got it. This is Bandai. This console is doing too well to not be putting out some stellar software constantly. And again, you have more resources than you usually had in your history. The last time you had this many resources for one system was 1988. That was the last time Nintendo catered to one console. Because after that, Game Boy came out, and they've had two pieces of hardware to contend with, to put software out for, since 1989. So you have more resources. You certainly got the money. Let's bring the games. I'm not here to apologize for you like some of these guys are, or make excuses, because there are none. When you're making this much money, you're catering to one console, which you haven't done for, what, 30 years? And you have the most popular console out there. And you've had 3 years. This console's been out for 3 years now. You weren't putting anything out on 3DS even then. So games should start showing up at this point, especially by the end of this year. So I'm not here to make excuses for you like some of these YouTubers would do. They have to. Like I said, we live in a world of fakeness. But I don't have to do that, so I'm not gonna do it. Jay Biggs, what up? What is up? I'm about to get out of here, man. Sorry. You can go back and watch the replay or whatever they call it. But I want to play some games. But tomorrow, I think I'll be playing some games live. So put this PC through its paces again, since I got it up and running again. But yeah, that's it. Unless you guys have anything you want to say, I'll give you a minute or so to drop a question or comment or something. If not, I will get out of here. So I want to say I'm kind of doing like this last hurrah for YouTube. Is one more resource I'm going to tap to see if I can get some growth. I haven't had a growth for over a year on this channel. And that's really disheartening, really demotivating. But I have one more last hurrah I'm going to try to get some movement. If not, I'm just going to focus on my movie stuff. My movie channel. I'm editing a video for it, the first video for it right now. So if you're subscribed, you'll have some content, and maybe just try to start fresh with that. I'll still do stuff on this channel. Still do tea talks, and still drop a what do you call it? A gaming history-ish type of video, gaming mini doc-ish type of video. I'll still do that here, but I won't put out as much stuff. And I'll save most of my skit stuff. Like I have this idea to do, because I'm just that passionate of a Star Wars fan, to write and produce using action figures. Write and produce my own trilogy. How it should have been, how it should have gone. Not just how it should have ended, like was that Hishi channel or whatever, but how it should have gone completely. It won't be full on like 2-hour movies or anything, but I think it'll be pretty meaty. I think probably more than half an hour for each episode, just to get my what I would have done type of stuff out, or what I would have focused on. Who knows? Maybe it'll end up being longer, but that's gonna be like, animation and digital effects and visual effects and all that stuff. So that's gonna take a while, especially if I'm doing 3 episodes. So it's gonna be my versions of episodes 7, 8, 9. So we'll see how that goes. But I got so many things I need to do, I want to do. But yeah, I guess that's it. I don't see any questions. So thank you guys for joining me as always. I appreciate it. Jay Biggs for jumping in late. I don't know if you were here, but Nintendo guy, Santiago, Laker Link, my Regulus. What Who else? Juice, who was here earlier, probably gone. Retro Death, Zeno. I think I said Laker Link, right? And Bruce Kent. You're probably out now by now. The Game Master 21. Thanks for joining. Appreciate that. And I will see you guys in the next video or stream. Probably stream first. So, all right. Peace. Peace out.